Have you ever felt your heart pounding so hard during a run that you thought it might burst out of your chest? That moment when you're gasping for air, your pulse is racing uncontrollably, and you wonder if something is seriously wrong with you. What if I told you that most runners are doing it completely wrong and don't even know it? Your heart is trying to tell you something crucial, and ignoring these signals could be sabotaging your entire fitness journey. Right now, thousands of people are running with dangerously elevated heart rates without understanding what's happening inside their bodies. The truth about heart rate control is nothing like what you've been told, and what you're about to discover will completely change how you approach every single run. But before we dive deep into this revelation, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button if you want to transform your running experience, and drop a comment telling me what's your biggest struggle when running. Are you ready for this? Because the science behind what I'm about to share is absolutely mind-blowing, and the last technique I'll reveal is something even professional athletes swear by but rarely talk about publicly. Welcome to this transformative journey where we're going to unlock the secrets your heart has been desperately trying to communicate with you. Prepare to discover the hidden mechanisms that control your cardiovascular system during exercise, the surprising reasons why your heart rate spikes unexpectedly, and most importantly, the proven strategies that will give you complete mastery over your heart rate zones. This isn't just another generic fitness video filled with obvious advice you've heard 1,000 times before. No, my friend, this is a deep dive into the physiology, the psychology, and the practical techniques that separate casual joggers from elite runners who seem to glide effortlessly while you're struggling to breathe. Over the next few minutes, you're going to learn things that will make you question everything you thought you knew about cardiovascular training. And speaking of this incredible journey we're on together, I want to know something personal about you right now. Comment below which city or country you're watching from. Are you joining me from New York, London, São Paulo, Tokyo, or somewhere completely unexpected? I love connecting with this amazing global community, so drop your location in the comments. And while you're at it, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now, because we're just getting started with content that will revolutionize your fitness game. Let's begin with the fundamental truth that changes everything. Your heart rate during running is not just a random number on your smartwatch, it's a sophisticated communication system that reveals exactly what's happening inside your body at a cellular level. When you start running, your muscles immediately demand more oxygen to produce energy, and your heart responds by increasing its beating frequency to pump more oxygen-rich blood throughout your system. But here's where it gets fascinating and where most people get it completely wrong. Your heart has different zones, and each zone serves a specific purpose in your training. Zone 1 is your recovery zone, typically 50 to 60% of your maximum heart rate, where you're barely breaking a sweat and could easily hold a conversation. This is where your body builds its aerobic base, teaching your cardiovascular system to become more efficient at utilizing oxygen. Zone 2, the famous fat-burning zone at 60 to 70%, is where magic happens for endurance athletes. This is the zone where your body learns to burn fat as fuel efficiently, building those mitochondria powerhouses in your cells that make you unstoppable during long runs. But most recreational runners never spend enough time here because it feels too easy, and they mistakenly believe that unless they're suffering and gasping for air, they're not getting a good workout. This couldn't be further from the truth, and this misconception is precisely why so many people burn out, get injured, or never see the improvements they desperately want. Now think about this carefully. Why does your heart rate spike so dramatically during running, sometimes reaching levels that feel scary and unsustainable? The answer lies in understanding several critical factors that most fitness influencers completely ignore. First, there's the intensity factor. Obviously, running faster demands more energy, which requires more oxygen, which necessitates more heartbeats per minute. But it's not just about speed. Your running form plays an enormous role that hardly anyone talks about. When you run with poor posture, excessive vertical bounce, or inefficient arm swing, you're essentially wasting energy with every single step. Your body has to work harder to move you forward, and your heart compensates by beating faster to supply the additional oxygen your muscles are screaming for. Then there's the environmental dimension that catches people off guard. Running on a hot, humid day can elevate your heart rate by 10 to 20 beats per minute compared to running in cool conditions, even at the exact same pace. Your body is simultaneously trying to cool itself down through sweating and circulation while also fueling your muscles, creating a double demand on your cardiovascular system. Dehydration amplifies this effect dramatically, which is why that run that felt easy last week suddenly feels impossible today. And let's not forget about stress, sleep deprivation, and overtraining. When you're running on 4 hours of sleep with elevated cortisol levels from work stress, your resting heart rate is already higher than normal, meaning you're starting from an elevated baseline before you even take your first step. Comment right now and tell me, have you ever checked your heart rate zones? Or are you just running blind without any idea what's happening inside your body? Seriously, pause for 2 seconds and write in the comments section, I track my zones, or I run blind. I want to know where you're at because this next section is going to blow your mind, and it's specifically designed for people who want to take control rather than just hoping for the best. What are you thinking about this video so far? Drop your thoughts below because your engagement helps this content reach more people who desperately need this information. The second crucial block of knowledge you need revolves around the concept of maximum heart rate and why the old formula you've been using is probably completely wrong for your individual physiology. For decades, everyone used the simplistic formula of 220 minus your age to calculate maximum heart rate. If you're 30 years old, this formula tells you your max heart rate is 190 beats per minute. But research has revealed this formula has a massive standard deviation, meaning you could easily be 15 to 20 beats higher or lower than this estimate. Some 30-year-olds have a maximum heart rate of 170, while others can hit 210 without any problems. Using a generic formula to guide your training is like wearing someone else's prescription glasses and wondering why everything looks blurry. The only way to truly know your maximum heart rate is through proper testing, either in a sports laboratory with professional monitoring or through a well-designed field test where you warm up thoroughly, then push yourself to absolute maximum effort for 3 to 4 minutes while recording your peak heart rate. This number becomes your personal reference point for calculating all your training zones accurately. Once you know your true maximum, you can determine your zone 2 should be roughly 60 to 70% of that maximum, which for someone with a max of 190 would be 114 to 133 beats per minute. This is your foundation zone where you should be spending at least 70 to 80% of your total running volume if you're serious about building genuine endurance and speed. But knowing your zones is only half the battle. The real game changer is learning how to actively control and manage your heart rate during your runs. This is where technique meets strategy, and this is what separates people who make continuous progress from those who plateau indefinitely. The primary tool in your arsenal is pace management, which sounds obvious but requires discipline that most runners lack. When you start a run, there's this overwhelming temptation to go out fast, especially if you're feeling good or running with others. But starting too fast spikes your heart rate immediately into zone 4 or 5, accumulating metabolic waste products like lactate faster than your body can clear them, and creating an oxygen debt that forces your heart to work in overdrive for the entire run. The solution is counterintuitive. Start slower than feels comfortable, so slow it almost feels silly. Your heart rate should climb gradually over the first 10 to 15 minutes of your run, not spike in the first 3 minutes. Elite marathoners understand this perfectly. They run the first mile of a marathon slower than their average pace, allowing their cardiovascular system to warm up properly and find its sustainable rhythm. Now think deeply about this question. When was the last time you actually paid attention to your breathing pattern while running? Or do you just breathe however your body instinctively reacts? Your breathing is the master control switch for your heart rate, and learning to manipulate it gives you supernatural power over your cardiovascular response. There's a direct relationship between breathing rate and heart rate, because they're controlled by the same part of your nervous system. When you breathe rapidly and shallowly through your mouth, you activate your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, which signals your heart to beat faster. Conversely, when you breathe deeply and rhythmically through your nose, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, which signals your heart to slow down. This is why nasal breathing during easy runs is transformative. It forces you to slow down to a pace where nasal breathing is sustainable, automatically keeping you in the correct zone, and it trains your body to become more efficient at extracting oxygen from each breath. The technique is simple but challenging at first. Breathe in through your nose for 3 to 4 steps, then out through your nose for 3 to 4 steps, maintaining this rhythm throughout your run. If you can't sustain nasal breathing, you're running too fast for your current aerobic capacity, period. Drop a comment right now and tell me, are you going to try nasal breathing on your next run? Write, yes, I'll try it, or no way, sounds impossible. And seriously, what do you think about everything you've learned so far? Is this making sense, or do you have questions? Engage with me in the comments because I read every single one, and your feedback shapes the content I create for this community. The third and final block of transformational knowledge involves advanced techniques that sound almost too simple to be effective, but the science backs them up 100%. First, there's the power of walk breaks, which might sound like cheating to your ego, but your cardiovascular system doesn't care about your ego. Strategic walk breaks during your runs, especially during the early phases of building endurance, allow your heart rate to drop back down into manageable zones, clearing metabolic waste and giving you a mini recovery while still maintaining forward momentum. Elite ultramarathoners use this exact strategy during 100-mile races because they understand that sustainable effort beats unsustainable heroics every single time. A simple protocol like run 4 minutes, walk 1 minute can allow you to cover the same total distance with significantly lower average heart rate and much less accumulated fatigue. Second, incorporate heart rate variability training, which is the measure of time variation between your heartbeats. Higher. Variability generally indicates better cardiovascular fitness and recovery status. You can track this with various apps and devices, and on days when your HRV is low, indicating your body is stressed, you adjust your training accordingly, running easier or taking a rest day, preventing that spiral into overtraining and chronically elevated heart rates. Third, practice specific breathing exercises outside of running, particularly box breathing or 4-7-8 breathing, which train your nervous system to stay calm under physical stress, directly translating to better heart rate control when you're actually running. Let me share something that completely changed my relationship with running and heart rate management. The realization that slower running actually makes you faster in the long run. This seems paradoxical, almost impossible, but it's supported by decades of research and the training protocols of every serious endurance coach on the planet. When you consistently run at lower heart rates in Zone 2, you're triggering specific physiological adaptations that don't occur during constant high-intensity training. Your body builds more capillaries to deliver blood to your muscles, increases mitochondrial density in your cells so you can produce more energy aerobically, and improves your muscles' ability to use fat as fuel, sparing precious glycogen stores for when you really need them. These adaptations take time, typically months, not weeks, which is why patience is the ultimate competitive advantage. Meanwhile, runners who constantly spike their heart rate into zones 4 and 5 might feel like they're working harder and therefore improving faster, but they're actually limiting their potential, accumulating fatigue, increasing injury risk, and never building the deep aerobic base that allows for truly exceptional performance. The 80-20 rule has emerged as gospel in endurance training. 80% of your running should be at low intensity where you could easily hold a conversation, and only 20% should be genuinely hard intervals or tempo runs. Another game-changing insight involves understanding the relationship between your cadence, your steps per minute, and your heart rate. Research has shown that increasing your cadence to around 170 to 180 steps per minute, regardless of your pace, typically reduces impact forces, improves running economy, and can actually lower your heart rate at any given speed. The reason is biomechanical efficiency. Shorter, quicker steps with less vertical oscillation require less energy per step compared to longer bounding strides. You can train this by using a metronome app set to 175 or 180 beats per minute and matching your foot strikes to the rhythm. It feels awkward initially, but within weeks, it becomes natural, and you'll notice your heart rate dropping by 5 to 10 beats at paces that previously felt much harder. Additionally, strength training, particularly for your core, glutes, and legs, dramatically improves running efficiency and heart rate control because stronger muscles require less cardiovascular support to generate the same force output. A runner with weak glutes and core has to recruit more muscle fibers and work harder to maintain form, especially late in a run when fatigue sets in. directly translating to higher heart rates. Here's something almost nobody talks about, but makes an enormous difference. Your mental state and self-talk during running directly influence your heart rate through stress hormone pathways. If you're running while mentally stressed, telling yourself negative stories about how hard this feels and how much you hate it, you're elevating cortisol and adrenaline, which spike your heart rate independent of the physical effort. Conversely, runners who practice mindfulness, focus on gratitude, maintain positive self-talk, or use meditation techniques during their runs consistently report lower perceived exertion and measurably lower heart rates at the same paces. Your mind and body are inseparable, and training both simultaneously unlocks levels of performance that purely physical training can never achieve. Visualization before runs, where you see yourself running smoothly and comfortably with controlled breathing and a calm heart rate, actually primes your nervous system to make that vision reality. Now, let me share the technique that even professional athletes use but rarely discuss publicly because it gives them a competitive edge. Heart rate decoupling analysis. This advanced method involves monitoring the relationship between your pace and heart rate over time during consistent training runs. In an ideal scenario, as your fitness improves, you should be able to run the same pace at progressively lower heart rates, or run faster at the same heart rate. By tracking this relationship, typically comparing the first half and second half of longer runs, you can objectively measure your aerobic development. If your heart rate increases disproportionately in the second half of a run compared to your pace, you know you started too fast or haven't recovered adequately. If your heart rate and pace remain coupled, maintaining the same relationship throughout, you're training at appropriate intensity. If your heart rate decreases relative to pace over time across multiple weeks, you're genuinely getting fitter, and the adaptations are happening exactly as they should. This data-driven approach removes all the guesswork and ego from training, replacing it with objective feedback that keeps you honest and on track. As we approach the end of this journey together, I want you to reflect deeply on everything you've discovered today and how it applies specifically to your running life. Your heart is an incredibly intelligent organ that's constantly providing feedback about your training, recovery, stress levels, and overall health. Learning to listen to it, understand its language, and respond appropriately is perhaps the single most important skill you can develop as a runner or any athlete. The runners who thrive for decades, who avoid injuries, who continue making progress year after year, are the ones who respect their heart signals rather than constantly trying to override them with willpower and stubbornness. Controlling your heart rate isn't about weakness or taking it easy. It's about strategic intelligence, playing the long game, and understanding that sustainable progress beats temporary heroics every single time. The techniques I've shared today, from nasal breathing to proper zone training, from cadence optimization to mental strategies, are tools that will serve you not just in running, but in every aspect of life that requires sustained effort and endurance. But this is just the beginning of your transformation. If you found this video valuable, I have so much more to share with you. Click on the next video appearing on your screen right now, where I reveal the shocking truth about running shoes and how 90% of runners are wearing completely wrong footwear that's destroying their joints and performance. Trust me, what you'll learn will save you from years of pain and wasted money. And before you go anywhere, do me 3 huge favors that take literally 5 seconds but make a massive difference. First, smash that like button if this video helped. You understand heart rate control better. Second, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss content that transforms your fitness journey. Third, and this is crucial, leave a comment right now telling me what was your biggest takeaway from this video and what topic you want me to cover next. Do you want to learn about running nutrition, injury prevention, marathon training, or something else entirely? Your comments guide my content creation, and I genuinely read and respond to as many as possible. This isn't just a channel. It's a community of people committed to becoming better versions of themselves, and I'm honored you're part of it. Remember, your heart is your most faithful companion on every run, every workout, and every day of your life. Treat it with respect, listen to its wisdom, and it will carry you further than you ever imagined possible. Now go out there and put this knowledge into action, and I'll see you in the next video where we continue this incredible journey together. Keep running smart, keep your heart healthy, and I'll catch you soon.